This episode is sponsored by Gusto Embedded, financial services giants unlocking new revenue streams and building the all-in-one platform small businesses want with embedded payroll. Learn more about how to grow and retain your SMB customers by offering payroll on your platform at tearsheet.co/gusto. Welcome to the Tearsheet podcast, where we explore financial services together with an eye on technology, innovation, emerging models, and changing expectations. I'm Tearsheet Editor-in-Chief, Zach Miller. Small and medium-sized businesses are drowning in disconnected financial tools. They're juggling separate platforms for banking, payments, accounting, and lending, often logging into 5 or 6 different systems just to manage their daily operations. And meanwhile, they're telling us and anyone else who will listen, they want consolidated digital solutions that are increasingly curious about how generative AI might streamline their workflows. Today, I'm joined by Shruti Patel, Chief Product Officer for the Business Banking segment at US Bank, where she's responsible for delivering integrated product strategies that connect banking, payments, and software for business clients with up to $25 million in revenue. Shruti brings 2 decades of financial services experience across banking, payments, and fintech, with previous leadership roles at Shopify, JPMorgan Chase, and American Express. Her work has earned recognition from American Banker's Most Influential Women in Payments and Women We Admire's Top 50 Women Chief Product Officers. And under her leadership, US Bank's business banking product team was recognized by Tearsheet in the 2024 Best Service Provider for SMBs. And today we'll dive into US Bank's recent 2025 Small Business Survey results and what SMBs are actually telling the bank they need. Shruti will share how her team is building interconnected solutions that create experiences, seamless experiences, the operational challenges of delivering on that vision with legacy systems, and how strategic fintech partnerships are helping bridge the gap between what businesses want and what traditional banks can deliver. Welcome back to the show, Shruti.
Thank you for having me, Zach, and the special call out. And by the way, thank you very much for recognizing us with the Tearsheet Award.
So I know it's not easy to hear someone else extol you, so we'll just move right into the meat of the conversation. So you have this 2025 survey. Let's start with that. I think it's a great way to set the context of what you're hearing directly from your small business customers.
Yeah, sure. So we conducted the small business survey annually. This is our 3rd year of conducting the survey. And the data set is approximately 1,000 small business owners across the country, anywhere from, as small as 100K in annual revenues or 50K in annual revenues, all the way up to 25 million in revenues. And these could be really, sole props, less than an employee, all the way up to, about 100 plus employees, which these small businesses are controlling. We heard very similar themes like last year. I would say few notable ones and not surprising ones stood out. There are tons of macroeconomic stressors the small business owners are facing today. Mm-hmm. There's uncertainty from all of the tariff announcements we have heard earlier this year. So they're bracing themselves for what the long-term impact of that could likely be in terms of their day-to-day operations. Inflation and increased cost continue to be another one. And the third one are all of the things driven from supply chain disruptions as well as consumer spending sentiment, because they do expect a slowdown in consumer spending driven by inflation over the next 12 months. I will say, though, that we continue to see really good resiliency from small business owners as well. They are very optimistic about the future of their businesses. They are focused on future-proofing despite the macroeconomic stressors, as well as they have seen tremendous growth in the small business sector over the last 12 months. So that was clearly one of the big notable ones. In last year's survey, we saw Gen AI as a very emerging trend. And I think in this year's survey, based on all of the data, it's no longer an emerging trend. It is the way of doing business. Almost 60% of our respondents have already started deploying Gen AI tools or plan to over the next 12 months. And they're using it for a number of different functions, marketing and sales strategies, email automation, content creation. Examples include social media posts and back office management, as well as really thinking about personalized product recommendations. How can they better serve their customers, and data analysis and synthesis. So we're seeing small business owners really deploying a lot of these tools at scale. What was also very remarkable is that while they're using Gen AI, they're not spending a whole lot on it. And what I mean by that is almost half of them who are already scaling with Gen AI are spending less than $50 or using free subscriptions, which clearly means that this technology is widely available, but also easily adaptable and to use by small businesses who are very much focused on, cost of operations. And then the third one, which I would say where jumped out a lot, was the use of digital tools. We saw a 15% increase in how small businesses are valuing more and more usage and adoption of digital tools to streamline their operations, whether this is cash flow automation as well as workflows. So both cash flow and workflows and streamlining all of that to drive more efficiency and increase their margins was very top of mind. They're also relying more and more on their banks or financial institutions to provide them with more integrated products across banking, payments, and software. And again, not surprising, they are overwhelmed by the number of standalone software solutions which exist in the marketplace. They would like to consolidate these so that they're not, constantly juggling with multiple tools or playing mental gymnastics, all while streamlining cost. And some of the notable ones which stood out are merchant acceptance and acquiring solutions clearly is number one. Accounts payables and receivables and everything integrated in terms of helping them manage their cash flow, added payroll as well as digital wallets and tap to pay capabilities or contactless capabilities. And then the last one, which is actually super important for financial institutions as they start thinking about the future generation, I would say, is almost half of our small business owners in the country. So the U.S. Chamber of Commerce reports about 34 million small business owners in the U.S. and almost 50% of those small business owners are 55 and above, which means we're going to experience a massive generational shift in the coming years as they think about succession planning and more of millennial and Gen Z entrepreneurs taking over these businesses, which are currently family owned. And how do we better serve them and prep them both from transition strategies and succession planning, but also Gen AI and digital tools, because clearly the next gen entrepreneur is much more digitally savvy in terms of how they're expecting their financial institutions to serve them.
If you're looking to grow and retain your small business customers, start by building trust. Gusto Embedded survey banks and SMB owners to better understand their banking relationships, the role that trust plays within those partnerships, and how to build and grow those connections. Offering value-added services like embedded payroll can help build trust. Take a look at the free research report to learn all the ways you can build trust among your SMB customers and why it matters at tearsheet.co/gusto. Thank you for that. I just have a couple points of reflection, like go small businesses, first of all. Like, I love the fact that you see that they're resilient, and it seems to be like small businesses are some of the most resilient pieces of the economy. You're in and you're out, which is pretty interesting. And the second piece of feedback I have also is we haven't had a podcast in the past 18 months, Shruti, where we haven't talked about Gen AI. Primarily, big, large financial institutions talking about their own use of it, and nowhere near the level of deployment that you're seeing among small businesses. Like there's something totally freeing and creative that they could just go out and adopt this new technology and start putting it to use right away.
I would 100% concur, and it's a really accurate synthesis. We were quite surprised as well, but I think it also talks about how easy it is to use and how they are focused on leveraging new technology to drive their cost down. We did see some of our small business owners feeling overwhelmed because of the new technology and how can they best deploy, but I would say majority of them feel pretty comfortable. And I think what is keeping them very optimistic about leveraging is the cost of the technology itself. If they're
A lot
spending
cheaper
less
than
than
hiring a new employee.
$50.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you mentioned a bunch of different trends here at work, Shruti. So what are you and your team and US Bank in general doing to address some of these trends?
I think there are a couple of them. One is we are thinking about bundling and providing more integrated products and services to our small business owners. We hear loud and clear year over year that singular products are very overwhelming and that they're really looking for financial institutions to give them a one-stop shop banking plus payments plus software.
They see the banking as their hub, as their financial hub in a sense. Okay.
Yes, they see banking as their financial hub, where they store their money, but they're also relying on money movement capabilities for inflows, outflows, and conducting all of the important transactions, whether this is paying their bills, paying their vendors, paying their employees, or buying raw materials and doing cross-border transactions. So I do think that they have expanded their view of thinking of banks just as a one-stop money movement to how can you give us more on the payment side. So US Bank has a very large and well-positioned merchant acquiring business, L1. We power a lot of our small businesses through our L1 capabilities. A few years ago, we bought a fintech called Talic, which was our point of sale solution. And so, we're trying to meet as many needs of small business owners across the different verticals they have. And what we've done over the years is really invested in our digital capabilities, whether this is cash flow management in our online banking as well as mobile app or helping them with workflow automation tool. So a simple example is in April, we launched what we call Business Essentials. It's a US bank bundle across banking payments. It's a best-in-class premium checking account with no annual fee and unlimited digital transactions. And what we have added to that as part of the bundle is a card reader, completely free, powered by our merchant acquiring product. And so it's a simplified onboarding and application process. You get both our merchant acceptance solution, our payment acceptance solution, as well as our checking account. We have fraud detection tools as part of it. And really, all of this is coming at no charge for small businesses who are really looking to get multiple solutions in a single bundle to jumpstart their businesses.
You launched that in April, you said, Business Essentials.
We launched that in April. We are seeing some really good success across all of the markets we operate in, as well as across the country, especially in our small business segment. I think they love the ease of the application process and the onboarding process, but they also love the ease that they can get both a payments acceptance solution as well as an operating account with all of the benefits in one go.
So obviously there's the form factors that you're sending to the clients, but what happened, I guess, behind the scenes at US Bank to be able to deliver on this kind of stuff, the integrated type of experience?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We have obviously our standalone checking accounts. We have our standalone payments acceptance capability. And one of the feedback points or pain points we often receive from our customers is that they have to go through multiple processes, multiple applications. And sign up for each of these products. And by the way, they don't really see the singular products helping bring the cost of their operations down. And so when we designed the bundle, we obviously wanted to simplify all of our back-end processes. It's a simple, application, onboarding process, and underwriting event. But in addition to that, we also wanted to give them certain benefits, completely fee-free. No annual maintenance fee for the checking account, a free Mobi card reader, unlimited digital transactions so that they don't have to worry about all of the money movement they are relying to do through our online banking capabilities plus branch interactions as well as fraud detection tools. We are designing this bundle because we have to keep our small businesses in mind. And when you're jump starting a business, they're really looking for cost efficient ways to tag on multiple products without having to pay hefty fees. And so fees was very much top of mind in addition to obviously the simplified processes.
And as US Bank continues to build out its prominence in this sector as the financial hub, as we described earlier, Obviously, some of those services you're going to deliver directly, and I assume some of those come through third parties and partnerships that you have. Can you talk about, I guess, your experiences through your own collaboration and what that means for your small business clients?
Yeah, at US Bank, we are very much focused on partnering with technology firms or fintechs who are doing it best. I think, in the past, we have a number of these examples. I mentioned Talic, which was a point of sale solution we purchased a few years ago or acquired a few years ago to tag along our merchant acquiring arm, Elavon. We also, a few years ago, had acquired Bento spend management capabilities. And we just launched our spend management capability tied to US small business card, in April as well. We're again seeing a lot of success. Small businesses who sign up for the US Bank Small Business Card get the Bento spend management capabilities, either in the form of a free package or if they want additional capabilities for a paid package. And this really helps us small businesses to help control, manage, track all of their spending on the card, delegate controls, delegate employee cards, but also set category limits and spend limits. And so, again, a perfect example of how we are bundling software with card. As our small businesses are thinking about using simple lending solutions to manage their day-to-day spend with enhanced controls. As we look to the future, we are continuing to work with a number of partners in the ecosystem. A lot of integrated software is very much top of mind, whether this is account payables, account receivables, payroll, or cash flow and ledger accounting software. And so, yes, we continue to look as to who's doing it best and look forward to building.
One of the things I've appreciated about our conversations over the years, Shruti, is the velocity at which the organizations that you run launch new products. How important is that to servicing today's small business?
I think it is super important because the rate of change has really accelerated in the past few years. What I mean is, we're obviously seeing tremendous innovation in new tools, new surfaces, new technologies being brought to market. But at the same time, small businesses are grappling with equal amounts of pressure, especially post-pandemic era. And, whether this is inflation, which has continued to be on the rise over the last few years, supply chain disruptions continue to be a very big challenge for small businesses as they're thinking about meeting needs. But think tariffs and think, consumer sentiment around spending. All of this leads them to really think about the way they're running their operations, how they continue to streamline, and how do they bring and keep their cost down. So we really need to make sure that all of the innovations we're seeing in technology or new innovations coming to market, we are using them to meet the needs or the pain points of the small businesses, which, by the way, have accelerated over the last few years. And so I think continuous product innovation, constantly iterating on how you're going to market, helping them come up with more and more streamlined products which are going to help them run their operations is going to be super key. I think what we're seeing, especially post-pandemic, is that the shelf life of products has really gone down. And that's why the continuous iteration and new launches becomes much more important.
As you're saying that, it kind of impressed upon me also, we talked about over the years the unbundling of a bank, but it's actually we're in a stage right now where the bank itself is the rebundler of all these services that kind of cropped up afterwards. And it makes sense that the end client, the SMB, wants that hub and wants it through the traditional financial institution.
Absolutely, because that's where the source of funds is, right? Mm-hmm. These are the same institutions where they trust these institutions as custodians of their money, and they know that when it comes to whether these are lending products, whether loans, long-term, short-term loans to help them with working capital, or with money movement capabilities, they are now beginning to realize that if I'm going to use the financial institution for almost running half of my business, why not also the reliance on software? And using those same surfaces, whether these are the app capabilities or online banking capabilities, to just use more and more software through those surfaces, because it brings their overall cost down significantly versus, signing up for the multiple softwares in the marketplace.
That makes total sense. Shruti, great to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us on the Tearsheet podcast today.
Thank you for having me, and always a great chat.